Hello again, welcome back to the Corn Holiocast. I'm Corndogs again,
And I'm Corn Holio, your bald, big-nosed guy with headphones here.
and this is your totally regularly scheduled programming, not at all delayed because we are both lazy.
Yeah, lazy as heck.
Well, people, what can we say? Anyway, today we got something pretty similar to last week's episode of Kirby Air Ride. Today we have Rayman Arena.
It's another GameCube game.
Yes, it's for the GameCube.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Uh,
Yeah, despite my enthusiasm, I'm kind of mixed on this game.
really?
Mixed as in, I think one half is legitimately really freaking interesting, and the other half, not so much, but, probably better I let you kind of go in on the introduction, kind of explain what it's about and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly the same stance on me. A bit like how I was with Kirby, with Top Ride versus Air Ride and City Trial in the previous episode. The race aspect of Rayman Arena, specifically the GameCube version, I'm gonna touch on that in a second, is so much fun. Like, it is amazing.
Oh yeah, tons of fun.
Yeah, you have a jump. I think you have a double jump, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I,
No, not
okay.
double jump. You could tap the A button like twice to get like this little glide.
Yeah,
For like any character to kind of like judge your
yeah,
get more reaction time during your falls.
all of the characters, they do the same exact thing. They have the same exact moveset. It's just which coat of paint you want. Um, and so each and every single character, can jump. After that, you can jump again to glide, and that actually stops all upward momentum, which is a very pro strat I found out, because there's like bounce pads scattered around levels.
Pro gamer is
Yes,
what you meant.
yes. There's bounce pads scattered around the levels, and you can use those to bounce up, and some of them bounce you a bit too high. So what you can do is you can activate your glider right when you get to where you need to go, and then you just fall back down, and you don't waste any extra time. It's a really nice strat, and it feels great to pull it off. So, standards.
Yeah. The platforming and like the racing segments is like really good because it's essentially not sure how familiar you are with it, but Rayman 2, The Great Escape, it's been ported to like every freaking platform known to man.
It's been
Rayman
ported
Arena
to
not
the.
so much, but I'm pretty sure like Rayman Arena runs off of the engine that Rayman 2 is on.
I.
And the platforming in Rayman 2 is pretty freaking good. Just the right amount of floatiness. It just feels satisfying. So I think like the way they adapt that into the racing is done extremely well in the sense that everything functions like it should. Gliding feels it's nice to have that extra reaction time, but there's also the cost of like taking up too much airtime, and you need to just kind of laying down on the ground. Like there's a good balance between like knowing when to overcorrect your jumps and when to fall back down to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry. I've been agreeing with you this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say something very interesting right now. This is the only Rayman game I have ever played.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
No, I'm completely fine.
I mean, Rayman Arena is pretty freaking good as it is. Well, half of it is. We're still going to get into the other part that I guess both of us agree is mediocre on. But two and three are really good platformers. Two's kind of a. It sort of reminds me of Mario 64, but kind of more linear. While three kind of has a better emphasis on combat, but both are really freaking good.
Yeah,
Both are
yeah,
really
yeah.
freaking good.
Yeah, I know the legacy that Rayman has is a bit of a niche audience, but not like tiny. Um, so yeah, good on them for that. However, I do want to quickly touch on this because I haven't quite yet. There are different versions of this game depending on what console you actually play on, and like those different aspects of the game, which is why I specifically said the GameCube version. They
Yeah. The GameCube and Xbox versions are both the same, but essentially, from what I gather, is that Ubisoft decided it would be a good idea to overhaul the game a bit when porting it to GameCube and Xbox, and I'm not entirely sure why. It feels pretty significantly different. The UI was completely overhauled. They kind of had this nice space theme going on with the PlayStation 2 and PC versions, but they dropped that for like this kind of softer, more. I don't even know how you would describe it. Like Simpsons, it kind of reminds me of Simpsons Hit and Runs like UI in a couple ways.
Yeah.
Kind of softer, more visually colorful. Kind of redid the racing works. Like it kind of changed up some of the game modes. If I remember correctly, like the PlayStation 2 and PC versions let you like freeze, use the attack button to like shoot a little ice projectile that can freeze your opponents. But that's been changed in the GameCube and Xbox version, so I think it's like only available in like one specific game mode or something.
Yeah, time attack
really
and some of
too
the
well.
in some of the battle modes. So not every game mode, but just a few of them.
Yeah. And then from what I remember, that was, I think the frozen lum projectile was like present in every game mode in the original PS2 and PC versions. I'm really not sure what inspired Ubisoft to completely overhaul this game that significantly. But as far as I'm aware, it was like only released in English. I think it only had an NTSC release. The GameCube and Xbox releases.
Unfortunately, I'm not positive about that. What I am positive about is that there is a third port that they have. They didn't just port it to the GameCube and Xbox. They also backwards ported it to the PlayStation 1 under the title of Rayman Rush. It was a devolved version of the game.
Yeah, and that just has, like the name implies, that all it has is that it's just essentially just racing with nothing else to it. And
that was the only good
well,
one.
it sounds good. It's and I kind of have a nostalgia for PlayStation 1 visuals and that sort of thing. The issue I have with it is that playing it feels significantly more sluggish compared to the other console counterparts.
Yeah.
And it has a couple of other nasty things, like a couple of a really obnoxious sound booster bug that can't be fixed unless like you pause and unpause the game. And trying to think of what else there was. I think there were a couple of other like audio bugs, and like because of a lack of interest in the game, like nobody really has an understanding on how to 100% the PlayStation 1 port
Oh, okay then.
version,
That's news
which
to
is
me.
weird. Yeah, that is. Yeah, apparently, I think last time I checked, it was speculated that it had something to do with the time trial mode, like if you got under a certain time or something. But I don't think there's been much research onto that. So that's interesting. And I think it was handled by one of Ubisoft's subdivisions. I think it's a subdivision like based in China.
Yeah,
they've
according
done a couple of other
yeah,
ports. Yeah,
I'm looking here at the Rayman wiki right now, and it says it was Ubisoft Shanghai. So you were on the nose right there.
Yep. The Corn Holiocrams. Darn straight.
There's your
Darn skippy.
there's your corny
Darn
joke for the
skippy.
day.
But
Savor
yeah,
it.
it's interesting to see. Yeah, it's interesting to see that Ubisoft was willing to try with a console that was already starting to show its age at this point.
Mhm.
but it just feels kind of too sluggish compared to like the PC and PlayStation 2 ports, which is and GameCube and Xbox obviously, which I consider the superior versions of the game. But
Yeah.
it just feels there's a really nice sense of speed with every other version of the game that I think the PlayStation 1 version doesn't capture.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, some of that plays into how good the platforming feels, since it's basically Rayman 2 on rails. And that's a pretty good thing to have, since Rayman 2's platforming is just has the right amount of weight to it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do things like, there are boost pads around the track. You kind of just, you keep mashing the boost button. There's a little button you can press to keep mashing to get a little more speed out of your boost. And that's, once you master that and knowing like where to jump, where the shortcuts are, and when it's appropriate to glide and when it's appropriate to cut it out, it feels really satisfying to master, even though it's pretty simplistic.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, you're still talking about the PlayStation 1 version, right? I haven't heard of the boost tech at all.
The boost tech is actually present in the GameCube version as well. If you just keep mashing the Y button, you'll see like a little puff of smoke
I'm booting up the
coming out
game
behind
right
the character.
now. I need to check this
that
out.
extends.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, yeah, you should like if you're using the GameCube version, you just run over a booster pad, and then while the character is still using the boost, if you keep pressing Y, they'll get more out of the boost. Now, early on, Rayman Arena's difficulty isn't that high, so you could probably get by without using it, but I think there are some optional levels where that extra boost comes in handy tons.
Yeah, I think the exhibition bits.
I think they're... Yeah, the exhibition mode.
I'm sorry, I have the game up right now. You actually mentioned the shortcuts earlier. Do you want to talk about a couple of those real quick?
Yeah, sure. So, again, like, the game kind of borrows most of its gameplay from Rayman 2, and it's kind of just Rayman 2 on in a more linear, like, racetrack course. Now, occasionally along the track, you'll find these little, like, switches and stuff that you can hit using your little projectile attack. And once that's done, a new path is revealed, and you can... And the way those paths work kind of varies between shortcut to shortcut. Some can, like, have these little hooks that you can shoot... your projectile attack at to latch onto, and then that's kind of just a back and forth thing. And you also have stuff like slides or secret passages. There's actually a really good one in one of the beach levels that I never even knew about until like a YouTube video showed me about it.
The one with the flower?
You shoot like this little flower.
Yeah.
You shoot this little flower on the sidewall. And then it leads you to this huge, this little secret tunnel that has like a bunch of invisible boosters. Then you come out on top of this stone hill, I think, or something. And then I think you can shoot like a purple lum there and keep going forward. It's a little faster than taking the regular route.
Yeah, funny you mention that because I literally just took that shortcut.
Oh, nice, nice. So
Yeah.
are you seeing, like, the boost technique that I'm referring to?
Yeah, like, I've played this so many times with my sister, and not once have we figured that out. Oh, that works on the slidey sections, too. We didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I think you should also be able to do it every time, like, you land, like, right before your character lands. If you press the Y button, I think that's a little bit of a better boost.
Yeah,
Kinda
that's
get a
true
nice
as well.
little, like, running start.
You know everything about this game, man.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I went through the trouble of 100%ing the GameCube version. I used to own the PlayStation 2 version back when I was younger, but I don't know what it was, but as a kid it always creeped me out, and I think that's because, like, I have memories of, like, playing the sewer levels, like those big dark black abyss levels. I can't even remember the name of the level, but I think it's like in the third track in the first cup or something in the GameCube version. Remember doing that in training mode
Isn't
with
that
like
like
no music playing as the
mechanical?
teensies, and yeah. I think for some reason that just freaked me out. And my only copy of the PlayStation 2 version accidentally snapped in half somehow.
Ooh.
It was in a CD case. I don't even know how that happened. Very, very unfortunate. But I had the GameCube version, which is overall superior, in my opinion. And um, outside of the aesthetical differences, it just has more interesting unlockables, like more skins that you get for each cup, each character. Has some alternative skins that you can wear
Hmm.
that you can select once you select the character. Each character has at least one, and that's a nice little incentive to like try to 100% the game. That makes it feel a bit different from like other racers of similar vein I played before. I say that, but like my only experience with like a running uh, running platformer racing hybrid thing would be like Sonic R on Sonic Gems collection, and
I can see that.
that's a game that tried. Sonic R is a game that tried. It tried very hard. It tried.
Yeah, yeah.
It tried. It deserves credit for trying.
It deserves credits for its
You tried.
OST, but that's for another day.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so,
Yeah, there's skins, then like some alternative unlockable characters. I believe. Trying to think here. And I'm not good at thinking. Mind that.
it,
Yeah, Dark Lowbox. Dark Lowbox is exclusive to the GameCube and Xbox versions. PlayStation 2 and PC didn't have that for some reason. And if you're wondering who Dark Lowbox is, your guess is as good as mine because he was never in any of the mainline platformers, and his appearance here is never explained. So that's neat. That's neat.
I
Um,
didn't even
yeah.
know that. Apparently, he is a one-off character that appears only in the North American releases of Arena for the GameCube and Xbox as an unlockable playable
Yes,
character.
Corn Holio was right.
Despite not appearing in...
You North American. That means the GameCube and Xbox versions were only released in NTSC territories.
Allow me to
Yes,
finish.
I don't. I really don't understand why Ubisoft went through the trouble of re like remaking the game that heavily to such an extent. When I'm not even sure if Rayman Arena did that good financially compared to the mainline platformers. I know, like you said, Rayman is already like kind of a niche as it is. Platformers are a little harder to come by nowadays, and Legends and Origins were definitely unique compared to everything else on the market at the time, and still are. But I don't even know if like Rayman Arena did that good on the PlayStation 2 or PC for like Ubisoft to decide, okay, yeah, let's try porting the game but with more stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were trying to fix something that they felt wasn't really up to their standards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
Because the PlayStation 2 and PC versions just strangely feel kind of unfinished compared to the later
I
releases.
can see that, yeah. So I actually want to mention something real quick. The second sentence of the Dark Globots wiki on the Wayman wiki says, that despite not appearing in any European releases, so it is exclusively North American. Even though the North American release has
Yes.
different languages for English, French, and something else, I think. So despite not appearing in European release, his theme song is used to represent Globette in the Rayman Rush in all regions. And Globette is exclusive
Yeah,
to
and
Rayman
that's pretty
Rush,
great because
which is the same sort of dealio with Dark Globots, which is not even shown. Like, it's not even in any other game. And, like, that's really weird, honestly.
yeah, and the and Dark Glowbox's theme is like drunk acapella, mixed with rock, and it's the weirdest sounding crud you will ever hear in a video game. But and like so, it doesn't really fit Glavette's character based on the little characterization she gets with like her little voice quotes and Rush and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's the weirdest freaking repurposing when it would have been smarter to just reuse Glowbox's theme or something.
Yeah. Um, and speaking of those themes, those play whenever you're in first. So instead of something like Mario Kart, where you have, Rainbow Road being an entire theme, or Wario's Mine, or Donut Plains, or whatever, you have the character theme who's in first. And you have like little crowd reacts whenever you swap between first and second, and then the music dynamically changes to that character's theme.
Yeah, and that was honestly my favorite thing about Arena's racing aspects because I feel like that sort of design kind of encourages try, trying to get into first just to hear like your character's theme. I thought that was really cute, honestly, compared to like other racers which just have like one theme, like you said. It encourages you to get in first and stay in first as long as you can, just so you can like hear your character's theme for as long as possible. And for what it's worth, the soundtrack is really, really, really freaking
Yeah,
good.
I must agree.
Yeah, there's Henchman 800's theme, Rayman's theme, the Teensies, which is... They're all great, and each one kind of like takes on a little different style or different genre for each character, and each one fits really well. I wouldn't think a banjo would fit Rayman that well, but it does, strangely.
Listen, I think that any instrument can fit just about any situation. Now, can you put like a trombone into a really like soft and emotional scene? I don't think so, but I'm sure that someone has tried.
I think you could. I'm absolutely sure you could try. You would just have to play it really quietly,
A really cool.
or I mean,
It's like
uh,
it's like the loss of a couch. Raymond's hanging on the ledge. Dark Glovex comes up and he says, "You should have gone for the head." Stomps on Raymond's hand, and you just go.
the world's most pitiful fart.
We are 12.
Yeah, 12 mentally. 12 mentally, and that is my most redeeming factor. Like, uh, like, I'm very immature. I'm very immature, so I can relate to all the kids. I'm hip with it.
Yeah. And obviously we're 12, so we gotta talk about GameCube games.
Yeah.
So let's see, what else is there? We can go ahead and talk about the other half of the game now, the battle mode.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, okay,
we
this
gotta
might be
cover everything.
short. I mean, okay. Well, I think the game as a whole is, well, the racing aspect is pretty solid. The fighting feels kind of and that's weird since Rayman 2 had combat as a pretty big focus compared to other platformers at the time, and it does it pretty well.
Hmm.
But something about arenas just doesn't feel right. Like it's kind of just like too floaty, too slow, and I guess Rayman 2's combat was also a little more sparse, and I don't think it's something that can hold up an entire game mode. Honestly,
Yeah,
I think is my
so for
issue.
the uninitiated, there's a battle mode, which is essentially you get trapped in a fairly small arena, in my opinion, and you're given about 3 minutes to either collect, I believe, lums or just like magic pearls that randomly spawn about the stage, excuse me, or to hit your opponents with bullets, the most amount of times, and that's it. Those are the only two goals that you ever get. There's nothing ever different. And the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah,
issue with
pretty
that for
much.
me,
It's deathmatch and
deathmatch and collect them all.
capture the flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest issue with me, to pin it down on one very specific issue, would have to be the fact that it's so much slower than the racing, and it's because of momentum. There's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was going on about with like how it feels in comparison to like Rayman 2 and the racing. Like Rayman sort of has this weight to him and like 2, and I feel that floatiness kind of works in the racing in the sense that it gives you a little bit of a chance to like make some more precision platforming, which is handy in events where you're like trying to navigate a shortcut and there's actually a shortcut and the crypts somewhere, like the second track I think it is in the first cup. There's this little lump switch that you can shoot that raises these platforms up, and like there are a bunch of little tiny squares that raise up that let you take this upper path instead of going through the goo that slows you down at the
I
bottom.
think I know what you're talking
But
about. That
the
happens
thing
a number of
is
times.
that like these are really, yeah, I think you might know what I'm talking about, and I assume with your video editing magic skills, you could probably just like play some footage of it in the video once this gets rendered and everything.
Honestly, I could.
But
I could, but in the end, what's gonna happen is I'm literally just gonna record an hour chunk of gameplay. Then I'm just gonna slap it behind the TV, and then I'm just gonna have whatever play. I'm not even sure what's gonna happen. I might just go through an entire cup. I don't know. Like I said, we're lazy.
yeah, yeah. And dolphin free camera is probably like pretty nice to have just to like make some really attractive like idle track shots or something. Probably.
I don't know how
I
I
don't
use
know.
it.
I remember loving dolphin free camera. It's some sort of option somewhere.
Whatever.
I can probably help you with it.
Afterwards.
But yeah, see now that shortcut is kind of like that shortcut with the little tiny platforms is kind of hard to take. So like those floatier jumps kind of work, but I think with the fighting, it along with the slow speed just makes you feel like you're sort of playing in zero gravity is the best way I can put it. It constantly feels like you're in zero gravity, and I don't
can
know
see
what
that,
it is.
like you're stuck in a spacewalk. I personally would put it up to
Yeah.
It's about the movement speed of Call of Duty. When a minute ago you were playing at the movement speed of Titanfall 2. That's a really good way of playing it, in my opinion.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, and there's really not much strategy at all. Like you just, you lock on, you shoot, you lock on. You
I
shoot,
entirely
you jump
forgot
roll.
you can lock on, honestly.
The lum collecting game mode is probably like the most interesting of the bunch, just because like it kind of encourages some of the platforming and it can get a little chaotic, but it kind of also shows some of the issues with that design because like with three or with more than 2 players, I'm pretty sure like multiplayer lets you do 4, but normally the game's Pro League Cups only max out to like 3 players. You basically get frozen every like 10 or 5 seconds, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of agonizing. Yeah. It's just very mediocre. It just feels kind of sluggish.
It,
Feels sluggish, and it doesn't feel as if like the game modes have much weight or depth to them compared to the racing.
yeah, the two
where
dominant strategies.
You need some mastery at the platforming in order to move as fast as you can.
And you can mess up at any
and
time, and you have
There's
to
a lot
recover.
more room for. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, in
the
battle mode, there's like
the
oh.
linear track design kind of works.
yeah,
Kind of works in its favor.
with Arena, there's like two dominant strategies: freeze everyone while not getting frozen, and collect the stuff, and collect the items before everyone else does, and don't miss your shots. And that's the entire game. Meanwhile, with racing, it's go fast and take the shortcuts, but you have to do the shortcuts well because it's really easy to fall off. So there's a big risk for reward right there.
Yeah.
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 So, it just. Mm,
Feels off.
yeah, I feel like. Yeah, but it's just not terribly interesting. They're really. I'm really struggling at things to think of, except. If you played Rayman 2, imagine the combat sections, but stretched out for like 2 more minutes, and somehow it just feels slower in every possible fashion.
Mhm. Don't
Yeah,
worry. I'm
yeah.
I'm taking notes of that, like for when I play Rayman 2 eventually.
Rayman 2 is pretty good.
I've heard
I'd
that.
highly recommend just grabbing like the PC port on GOG.com.
GOG.com, not even Steam.
It runs. It, yep, goodoldgames.com, because the PC version's probably the. I'd say it's probably the best version. Really nice, smooth frame rate. Runs pretty okay on modern systems, and you don't have to search for a Sega Dreamcast to play it. So there's that.
Huh. Well, I will definitely take note of that. I'll also take a look at how much it costs. Um. Anyway, what else is there to talk about this game? Honestly, at this point, those characters, those skins, those
Uh,
cups, those battle mode which no one plays, and those race mode which everyone plays,
yeah, no one plays.
and that's really about it.
Yeah. Um. Hmm.
I
Eh.
got something. The best.
There's the exhibition mode, which is kind of like the third tier of unlockables, alongside the character skins and characters themselves, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's basically put
There's
yourself
a
into
couple
a
of.
simulation.
They're basically kind of like. Yeah, you get thrown. It has like this cool Matrix neon theme that's. I find really just cool. I sort of wish like more games would kind of experiment with that grid
I
theme
really
more.
like
It's
early.
really nice.
I really
It
like.
was the reason why I liked Spider. I'm not sure if you've played it by chance, but the Spider-Man tie-in video game that was based on the 2002 movie had like training areas like that. I thought it was the coolest thing as a
The
kid.
only Spider-Man game I even recently have is Spider-Man 2 for like the GameCube and like some Spider-Man game for the Wii, and I was not the one who played those. That was my brother.
Yeah. I remember playing Spider-Man 2 a bit as a kid. I know a lot of people look on it as more fondly as the definitive of the console games from that generation, but I remember just liking one more because of like Bruce Campbell and the training areas, which had that whole neon grid theme, and Rayman Arena does them pretty well. Like they're pretty surreal. They're pretty calming in a weird way. I like them a whole lot, and they sort of act as expert challenges in a way. There are a couple of like timed obstacle courses that are actually like really freaking tricky to get through with other characters
Mhm.
um, within the time limit given, because you're put on a timer for that little obstacle course. And then there's another where like you're racing towards the camera, kind of like those Crash Bandicoot levels from the original trilogy, and uh, you have to run away from this wall that's chasing you, and you have these boost pads to help you, but after each like segment, the camera zooms in a little more, so it's like really freaking hard to see where you're going. It's designed to screw with you, but it's a lot of great muscle memory, and pretty exciting to nail down. It's present in both the Xbox and GameCube and PS2 and PC releases.
Sorry.
And then there were the arena the fighting bonus stages, exhibition stages. There was one that's just like straight up Pac-Man, like designed like the original Pac-Man
I could
board,
see that.
which is weird as heck. What now?
I can see that being a thing. That makes a bit of sense for me. Because, like, Pac-Man's considered, like, one of the godfathers of video games. One of, like, the actual cornerstones of the entire market. So, the
Yeah,
idea
yeah, but
of
I
putting it
mean, they
in...
straight up. It's straight up just. It's like literally just straight up the original board design that Namco used for the original arcade game,
Mhm.
or it's like really freaking close. I mean, it has the place where the ghosts spawn, kind of all those little pieces that make out the board. And considering that Pac-Man is owned by Namco, I'm kind of wondering how they got away with that. Like, I know Nitro Rad brought up something similar in his review, but it's kind of boggling, mind-boggling that they got away with that.
Eh,
Yeah.
there we are.
There was also like I know I complained about the game feeling like it was played in zero gravity, but there was also like a little zero gravity like uh, bonus fighting map where the gravity is like turned down so your jumps like go really freaking high.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the arena as the fighting aspects of the game as much, but I thought the design of both of those maps were pretty cool. I can't even remember what the PlayStation 2 and PC versions offered.
It's whatever.
Yeah, it's just kind of whatever.
So anyway, I actually wanted to mention one more
And-
thing, which I don't think we've touched on yet, and that was the cutscenes. But when you started up a race, the little FMV cutscenes with that frog guy.
Oh yeah.
It's this really fast frog
Oh
guy
yeah,
who's announced. He's like,
Murphy. Yeah.
who's just like, "What's up, guys? And let's go ahead and check on the competition for the racing. Oh, look at this guy. He's rearing up for a race. Now look
Yeah,
at this guy. Oh, and
basically
you gotta
like
be
an
fast, really
obnoxious
fast. And then,
YouTuber
oh,
or
look at this guy.
something.
And he's looking real fast. And then at the end of that whole chaotic scene, they slam the door and they beat him up because everyone hates him for some reason. Probably because, again, their privacy, but they beat him up. And
Yeah, and then it's implied like through the little watermark at the yeah, and then it's implied that they just straight up kill him
Yeah.
with a little watermark at the bottom right corner.
At least send him
Yeah,
to
and
the
it's
hospital.
strange because Murphy's character really isn't like that at all in the platforming game, so I'm wondering what the heck
It's gotta be gritty.
they were doing. Yeah. Yeah, those weren't present in the PlayStation 2 and PC versions. When you did a cup, you were just kind of like spawned in and just like you knew the objective and they were just like, okay, go. But they added some nice little visual flair and these releases, and yeah, I thought they were pretty cute.
I'm sorry, I
Thought
found
they
a
were pretty
gif.
funny. They explained the
I found a gif of
game objectives pretty
Murphy
well.
versus everyone else. That's just everyone beating up Murphy at the end of the cutscenes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Alright, well, so...
And the best thing is that I haven't really played the Henry Stickmin games yet, so I don't even know the context of that scene or why there's a spider at the end of his stick.
You
So
gotta
that's good.
play those
That's good.
games.
No context is great.
Alright, here's the thing.
I mean, for $15, it seems like a good investment.
Alright, let's do this. $15, you're gonna buy it, you're gonna 100% it as much as you can, and then next week, we're gonna be doing this. This is
Oh,
how much you gotta
hell
play
yeah.
the Stickmin games.
I mean, heck yeah. Let's try to keep it PG. PG-13. PG-13 at a max. Yeah. But yeah, I'd definitely be down for that.
Alright, next week. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm
Yeah,
leaving this podcast. It's all up to you.
I'm not entertaining enough to hold up an entire show by myself.
Just do this.
What do you see? You said like, you see how happy I am right now? Like me just staring into the camera with my headphones on and everything. It's all a ruse.
What camera?
God, I can't. I am the corn dog, and you're the stick to that corn dog. And if the stick were to go away, then that corn dog would just plop onto the floor and would be, like, really freaking hard to eat.
No, that is a pig in the blanket.
I need you, bro.
It's a pig in a blanket. It's an entirely different thing.
God, no! 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 That just makes me sound disgusting! Who in their right mind would eat a pig in a blanket?
Me. No, they're pretty good. It's a croissant and a hot
I guess
dog.
I would too.
They're good.
Are you going to finish that croissant?
Croissant?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good place to end it.
Speaking of PG-13,
oh, no, go ahead, go ahead.
There is one... Yeah, PG-13. One other thing about Rayman Arena before we're done praising the amazing racing aspect that's done pretty well and the fighting part that's not so great. The game's title actually varies between regions. Here in America and NTSC territories, the game was called Rayman Arena. The original PAL releases called it Rayman M.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been like some controversy or speculation as to why it was changed. The M in Rayman M stands for multiplayer, but I've heard that Ubisoft changed it potentially because they were worried about the M being confused with mature.
Yeah, I remember seeing that somewhere on the... one moment. Where was it? There was somewhere on the Ray Wiki, which mentioned something along those exact lines. Here it is. The title was altered to avoid misconceptions about the game being related to the ESRB's M for mature rating. However, the best part about that is that I have no source for that. So, I don't know any truth to it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know if there's any freaking source that confirmed this, honestly.
It's a great reason as to why I really like the idea of it being arena versus instead of M, because arena makes it feel like it's a lot more to the death and a lot more confined. But I can see the reason why.
Yeah, I think the US title is a lot nicer overall. Honestly, I think arena sounds a lot nicer.
Anything else to add on at all? You got any more topics? Any more ideas?
Not really, except I'm very interested in playing the Henry Stickmin collection now.
Next
buy that on Steam.
week.
And Rayman is a really good platforming series. Definitely check out 2 and 3.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And one is on the no, not the GBA. Well, that was the GBA port, I believe. One's on the PlayStation 1, and it's the side-scroller pixel thing. And that's it. That's all I know.
Oh yeah. That game's freaking brutal.
Yeah.
But it's definitely visually one of the
nicer games.
Nicest looking 2D titles from that era, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, that really about covers it. You took the helm that time.
Yeah. I suppose I did. I went crazy with power.
Hey, you know that.
I'm sorry.
We get those some days. That's completely fine. It's our podcast, not my podcast.
Yeah.
Buried a platypus. I see you've walked right into my trap. And now it's time for the end of the show, Nator.
My podcastinator. Hello. Okay, that's good. Hello. Your PFP, whenever you start talking into the mic, it moves and it looks like it's... Oh my god, it's completely insane. Oh jeez. Yeah, whenever you start talking, it just starts moving and it looks like it's lip syncing to whatever it is you're saying. 思い出がバカみたい